What's up YouTube, how you doing? This is Mr. Tybox123, and in this video I'm going to be running some comparison benchmarks between this, the HTC One X, and this, the brand new Samsung Galaxy S3. Now obviously benchmarks aren't a real test of performance, it's really the user perceived performance that we're interested in, but it does give us some idea as to just how well the hardware performs between one phone and the other. So let's just get these phones turned on and booted up, and then I'm going to run two different benchmarks on both of these phones. We'll run them at the same time and then we'll get some idea of the benchmark perceived performance differences between the two. One thing I did notice as well just there is that the HTC One X, although I started it after the Samsung Galaxy S3, did actually boot up quite a bit faster than the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now let's get into the benchmarks here. Now the first one that I'm going to run is the Antutu benchmark, so let's just launch this on both of the devices at the same time. Here we go, and let's just run the benchmarks on both of these. Be very interested to see the difference between the two of these. Hit the test button and then we'll do start test, and then we'll just let these run through. Now just while they're running through, I'll let you know some of the differences between the hardware between the HTC One X and the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now first of all, the Samsung Galaxy S3 has got a quad-core processor, but it's the Exynos 4212 quad-core processor, and that's clocked at 1.4 GHz. In terms of the HTC One X, it's got the NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor. That's also a quad-core processor, but it's actually clocked at 1.5 GHz. Now another difference between the two is the GPU. On the Samsung Galaxy S3, it's got a Mali 400MP GPU, and then on the HTC One X, it's got the ULP GeForce GPU. So they've both got 1 GB of RAM. They've both got fairly similar screen sizes, so it's going to be very interesting to see which one comes out on top in terms of the actual benchmarks. Now obviously in the future I'm going to go through and do some real life performance testing in terms of what the user would perceive, but this will give us some idea as to what the basic hardware will do in terms of one outperforming the other. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward some of this stuff now so you guys don't have to sit through and watch it, but I'll be back with you in just a minute. So there we go guys, that's the benchmarks both finished there, and we can see that the total score on the HTC One X is 11,172, and it actually finished slightly quicker as well. But the actual benchmark on the Samsung Galaxy S3 was slightly higher at 11,610. Now let's come out of those and let's move on to the next benchmark test. Now I'm just going to make sure we kill off all of the applications before we actually do this, and then we'll head over and we'll actually run the quadrant benchmark this time round and see which one of these comes out on top in terms of the benchmark. So let's just run these at the same time. Right, and there we go guys, we've got the benchmark results back, and you can actually see that the HTC One X clocked in at 4,884, but the Samsung Galaxy S3 got quite a bit larger on that one, and it was 5,418. If we look at the individual results, the CPU score on the HTC One X was 13,346. On the Samsung Galaxy S2 it was a lot lower, 11,856. The memory on the HTC One X 3,032 versus a lot faster memory on the S3 at 4,627. The I/O a lot slower on the One X at 4,651 compared with that on the S3 at 7,240, and then the 2D score on the HTC One X 980, not very different on the S3 at 1,000, and then the 3D score 2,411 on the One X, slightly lower at 2,369 on the S3. So anyway guys, that's that. Like I say, it doesn't necessarily give you the real life user perceived performance, but it does give us a good idea as to how these two kind of face off against one another in terms of true benchmarks. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that like button, and I will see you all in the next one. See ya.